It is absolutely chocker in the greenhouse at the moment. I've got plant deliveries coming in. I am potting on my own homegrown cuttings and seedlings, and the weather's just about right at the moment for me to start moving some of the tender plants that I've been overwintering in my greenhouse out into the garden. So I'm going to do that now, just to get a little bit more space. Squeaky greenhouse door. Now, when I say the weather's just about right to start moving plants outside, it's early April here, and what I mean by that is the daytime temperatures are just about right. As you can see, it's blue skies here, it's lovely and sunny. But these clear skies also mean that we're still getting late frosts during spring, and we don't want these tender plants outside in a frost because we've spent all this time in winter protecting them in our greenhouses. The last thing we'd want to happen is for them to get damaged this close to the warmer growing season. So it's a bit like the hokey cokey at the moment. Everything's coming out in the mornings, and then as it starts to get cooler in the evenings, I move it all back into the greenhouse, and it's just in, out, until the nighttime temperatures are, for me, at a minimum of 7 degrees Celsius. Is a comfortable temperature for a lot of the plants that I've been overwintering in the greenhouse. They can shrug off that temperature for a few weeks as it gets warmer into summer. So I'm going to keep moving the bigger tender plants out of the greenhouse, and while I'm doing that I can give you a tour of some of the exciting tropical plants that have come in recently and are currently available on the UK shop. This is one of those Brasseopsis mitis that I tell you with the spiky stem keeps getting me, but I survived that one. Now, the only thing with bringing plants in and out so often when the night times are still a bit cooler is you increase the risk of damaging the plant in transit, and it's typical that one of my highest value plants, this Brasseopsis mitis, is the plant that is most susceptible to being snapped, and every time I move it I snap one of these little leaflets or a whole leaf off. But luckily, even though they're quite expensive, they do grow really, really quickly. And you can see there's lots of new growth points coming out here, so I should have plenty of replacement foliage for any that this clumsy gardener breaks. That's better. I've got a little bit of working space in here, at least as much as I'm going to get in a 6 foot by 8 foot greenhouse as spring is kind of in full swing. Now, I'm going to show you some of the cool plants I've got here at the moment, because there's plants that I just haven't grown myself, let alone sold on my UK plant and seed shop. So I'll just grab them and bring them into shop because it's a lot easier than me clambering around. First up is this. Now, it looks like a regular green-leaved banana, a bit like Musa basjou, but this one is a pink flowering banana. You can see from the label there, it's got really intense pink bracts around the actual flower, which are super eye-catching. Now, I don't know if you saw on the label, this is Musa velutina, which is a reasonably cold hardy banana. It's from high altitudes, and I've spoken on the channel before that high altitude plants are used to the cold weather, so they make good candidates for gardens that have climates like the UK, and I'm in USDA gardening zone 9. So this is a brand new species for me, and I'm going to plant a couple of these out into the garden, and I'm just going to wrap them with fleece to see how they survive. But this is going to be a rapid growing plant, so it's not a bad size at the moment, fully rooted, so we've got roots coming out the bottom of the pot. And I reckon this will be easily 1.5 meters by the end of the season, so I'm looking forward to growing that one as something new. Now, we'll stick with the theme of bananas. I've also got these, which I have sold and grown before. I've even grown these from seed. It's Musa sycamensis, and I don't know if you can see there, if the camera's picking up that beautiful red striped foliage. This was one of my favourite plants in the garden last year, and I've managed to get hold of a good number of these in good sized pots, again with the roots bursting out at the bottom, so they are ready to be planted out and enjoyed. Now, I'd say this is probably the second most hardiest banana that we can grow in the UK after Musa basjou. I've grown one of these from seed, and I'm going to plant that one out, and I'll probably plant one of these out as well. Keep one for myself, and I can show it to you as the year rolls by, and you can see how this beautiful red foliage develops, and it's got a lovely maroon underside as well. That's Musa sycamensis. Now, of course, I've got lovely, healthy Musa basjoo as well. Again, fully rooted, roots coming out the bottom of the pot and ready to be planted out as soon as kind of the risk of the last frost passes. Now, for me in Dorset, that's normally probably within the next couple of weeks, mid-April, let's say. I can start bringing everything out, stop doing that dance with the plants every morning and evening, and just start letting things get established outside so they can enjoy the full growing season. Now, one more plant here. We've got Ensete ventricosum morellii. This is that one with the huge maroon paddle-shaped leaves. Now these plants, again, fully rooted with chunky roots coming out the bottom of the pot, are ready to be planted out. There are one or two, like this one, that needs a untidy leaf cutting off. But you can see, now that the sun is shining, these gorgeous maroon red leaves, which earn it the common name of the red Abyssinian banana. You'll see it sold as both. But I've got absolutely loads of these available at the moment, and a good size to give you a head start in spring, because they are well rooted, so when you plant them out they will grow away quickly. What else have we got here? This is nice. Now, you may remember that last summer I really got into growing aeoniums, and I've managed to source 40, I think, Aeonium vela. It's a cultivar called vela, which is a really free branching cultivar. You can see there that there's multiple rosettes emerging from this single stem, and this succulent will grow to 1.5 meters tall, so it's going to be really striking, really architectural, and these rosettes will each get to probably dinner plate size. So you can imagine how that's going to look in a few weeks time, a couple of months time, as they all spread out and you're going to have beautiful rosettes everywhere. Now, what I like about aeoniums, and this cultivar in particular, is they're colour changing plants. The more sun that they get on the leaves, it causes sun stress, but in a good way. It causes the leaves to flush through this purple and red and maroon colour. Now, each different cultivar reacts differently. I've actually got some variegated ones that do different things, but this one, you can see how coloured up it already is. Again, I'm definitely going to be keeping probably a couple of these for my garden, the Grow Paradise garden, so I can show you how I grow them and how I propagate them. I've actually done videos on that, so I'll link that below and up in one of the corners of this video, so that you can learn how to propagate aeoniums if you've got any of your own, or if you purchase one of these, or wherever you are in the world from your local garden centre, you'll know how to multiply your plants. Now, what else have we got? Another plant that I was collecting quite a lot of last year were bromeliads. Now, I've actually brought in quite a collection of different genus and species. So this is Vreesia, and it's a really popular cultivar called Era, with this beautiful purple banding over the thick, waxy green leaves. And these are in small pots, so really, really easy just to pop out and mount onto shrubs and trees in your garden, which is how I grew mine last year, and that's exactly how they would grow in a tropical rainforest. A seed would land, or a pup would drop off. That's one of the offsets that come off the side of the plant, and it would land in the crotch of a tree, and it would just grow there, collecting rainwater in that central kind of dish of that rosette. I absolutely love bromeliads, and I've got a couple of different species, but this one's one of the most striking, and I'm really looking forward to mounting them onto more trees and branches in my garden this year, because it really did give it that tropical vibe, especially when they flower. Now, I'm looking up there as I say that because there's something in flower, a bromeliad in flower behind the camera, but there's no way I'm going to get to that when I've got this many plants in here. I also got more of these Fatsia polycarpa, which is a different species to japonica. For me, it's not been quite as hardy, but I would definitely say half hardy. Once planted out, and this stem goes a bit woody, it's much hardier. I lost all of the top soft growth, but it's reshooting, and I've got multiple growing points from that stem, so I get loads of this tropical foliage. Now, Fatsia polycarpa, this is a cultivar called green fingers because of how deeply lobed those fingers are on these leaves. It's a really nice plant, and it tolerates shade. For me, it grows better with a bit more sun, definitely more so than the regular Fatsia japonica, but definitely one to give a go. I'd love to hear how all of you are getting on in your gardens at the moment, and I've got some exciting news. I've actually created a miniature social media website, especially for Grow Paradise and gardeners and plant lovers. The website for it is growparadise.social, and on that site there are forums where you can ask questions, we can all learn from each other's knowledge and help each other out. There's social groups, you can upload photos, you can comment on each other's photos, give things likes. It's really exciting, so I'd love to see you set up an account on there. It's free, and just help each other out. There is a social feed where you'll see everybody's questions popping up, people sharing pictures of their plants and gardens, hopefully, and it should be a really good space for Grow Paradise fans, plant fans, gardening fans all over the world to connect and help each other out. I look forward to seeing you create an account there. I will see you all in the next video, and I will chat to you over at growparadise.social.